much. Thank you very much. Now we're going to get in place for TUBA Christmas, and we hope you keep that good singing up because we're depending on you, all right?
Well, good morning and welcome to Nashville First Baptist Church TUBA Christmas 2021. Let's put our hands together one more time for G.R. Davis and this Dixieland band. What a great job they did getting us ready for TUBA Christmas. We are so glad that you're here this morning. We missed you last year during the pandemic, but here we are back once again for TUBA Christmas and so excited. Thank you for bringing your friends. I am Joe Fitzpatrick, the worship and music pastor here at Nashville First, and on behalf of our entire congregation, it's my pleasure to welcome you, and we hope that you've already received a very warm welcome from those that are greeting you along the way. Well, we're here for a wonderful time of singing the wonderful carols of the season. And how about a round of applause for all these wonderful instrumentalists up here on the platform? They're going to knock your socks off here today. Well, we hope that if you don't have a place to where you usually worship, we invite you to come back here on Sunday mornings. We have services here at 10:30, both a traditional and a contemporary service. Sunday night, this Sunday night, the 19th at 5 p.m., we have our Carols Candlelight Celebration featuring our Sanctuary Choir, our Children's Choir, and the Nashville String Machine, which is the premier studio recording ensemble here in Music City, USA. So you don't want to miss it. Bring a friend and come be a part of that. Also, on Christmas Eve, we have Christmas Eve services in this space at 5 p.m. and then our space on the Broadway down in the new building at 8 p.m. So we warmly welcome you. Thank you for being part of us, and now let's give a great welcome to G.R. Davis and TUBA Christmas. Merry TUBA Christmas, everyone.
Something to make this live. There we go. On each carol that we play today, we're going to play it, well, for most of the time, we're going to play it through once, and then we're going to invite you to sing along. And Carmen Sanders, my friend for a number of years, TUBA Christmas, and a wonderful singer. is going to lead you as we sing the carols. And so the first, now these are in tuba keys, so if they seem kind of high or kind of low, well, tough stuff. That's the way it is when you sing with tubas, okay? All right, here we go on "Oh Come All Ye Faithful." I expect to hear the roof raised, okay? Merry TUBA Christmas, everybody. Yes, indeed, and we're glad to have a standing ovation anytime. You know, you did a great job on that carol. I was very impressed, but I looked all over the audience, and I saw several people that didn't seem to know the words. So we've got one for you. If you can handle fa la 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 la, la la, la la. Here we go with Deck the Halls. Merry TUBA Christmas. Yes, indeed. Well, this is our it's hard to believe, Nancy, this is our 35th year in Nashville. You didn't think we were that old, did you? But anyway, you know, Nancy and I collaborated on a little tuba ensemble concert out at Fountain Square, which some people refer to as the Mistake on the Lake, if any of you know the malls around here. But back in about 1987, I think it was, not long after I moved to Nashville, and she knew that I had come from Bloomington and knew Harvey Phillips well, and of course she'd met him and knew him too. So I suggested, well, why don't I call Harvey and see if he'll come down and do a TUBA Christmas, and I did. And he came down here, even though we were small, for the first 20 years or so. He's the founder of TUBA Christmas. I'll talk a bit more about that in just a minute, but we have closed down several malls in town, like Hickory Hollow's no more. We were there once. And we used to be at the Church Street Center. You don't hear about that one either, do you? And of course, Fountain Square is gone. Well, we tried to close Green Hills after they put us in the basement, in the parking garage, but they seem to be doing well. Well, anyway, when we got downtown, we kept running into problems with so many people wanted to come hear us. The fire marshal would tell us, you can't do that anymore. There's too many people in here. And one day I got a call from Mark Edwards, the choir director here, who was then the choir director at First Baptist, invited us to come here. And what an incredible facility it is. We're so thankful. This is our 15th year. Let's give them a little hand, huh? Yeah. Yes, thank you very much. They treat us like royalty, and of course, tubas, we like to think we're royalty. We appreciate it. By the way, I was looking at the back row back there. What the heck does TC mean back there? Oh, okay. We've got enough bell covers to spell Merry Tuba Christmas, but we could only come up with 2 this year, so it's TC. We had no idea what to expect. Nancy and I sat on this bare stage up here by ourselves and narrated a virtual Tuba Christmas last year. And we decided we'd give it a try this year. Well, we've got about 90 players up here, and I swear I think it's the best sounding ensemble we've ever had. And a big crowd to hear us here. We appreciate it so much. I want to thank a number of people, but let's go ahead and play one more carol. This is one of my favorites, and I need to remember to tell the tuba players the numbers on these because they have to look them up in the book. It's number 5, the first Noel. And I think a lot of us know the words to this, so Carmen certainly does. We hope you'll sing along with us. Players, the next one will be number 21. Back when we first did Tuba Christmas, well, first of all, I was a student at Indiana University in Bloomington, Indiana, when Harvey Phillips came up with the idea to do Tuba Christmas. And I played the very first one, and this is going to sound a little strange. We actually all dressed up in Santa suits and sat on a fire truck and played these Tuba Christmas carols and raised money for the Salvation Army. But that was in 1974, and he went on from there to do a big concert in New York. And this is just a brief recollection of his experience with trying to set up that concert in New York. He wanted to honor his teacher, William Bell, who was the tubist for the New York Philharmonic for a number of years and also for Toscanini in the NBC Symphony. And William Bell was born on Christmas Day in 1902. So anyway, Harvey decided he wanted to do a mass tuba ensemble on the ice in front of the statue of Prometheus at Rockefeller Center. You see that all the time on NBC. Now that's kind of a bold vision, isn't it? I mean, you know, would you think of that? I'm not sure I would have. So anyway, he had to arrange for this. He called Rockefeller Center up and he said, this is Professor Harvey Phillips, and I want to have a concert there on the ice in front of the statue of Prometheus and the Christmas tree at Rockefeller Center. And nobody said anything. And he said, and I'll have 300 tubas. And he said there was even more silence. And he said, I know you think I'm crazy, but I have good references. Can I give you a couple of references? Well, Mr. Phillips, we've just never done anything like that before. I don't see how we could. He said, well, do me a favor. Would you call a couple of references for me before you tell me absolutely no? Well, okay. What he gave them, back then we didn't have cell phones. He gave them private, unlisted phone numbers of Doc Severinsen, Leonard Bernstein, Mstislav Rostropovich, Paul Laval, the director of the Band of America, and 2 or 3 others. And he said in about an hour, he got a call back from Rockefeller Center and said, Mr. Phillips, you can have anything you want. So that's how it all started. And I wasn't there for the first one in New York, although I have been to New York. And there are a lot of stories with that, which I won't tell you. But anyway, we've had so many good times. There are over 200 concerts. We've probably still not got the New York concert back this year, but it usually brings about 500 in. And if you think about how much trouble you have to go to get to downtown New York City with a sousaphone, you'd appreciate their efforts. It's not a piece of cake to come down here either sometimes. But anyway, we want to, at this time, we want to play one song for you called a carol that we're just going to play as a concert piece. It's one of my favorites. It's not one that a lot of people know, but it has beautiful harmonizations, and I think it really shows off the beauty of these instruments. It's Lo, How a Rose Are Blooming. How about that sound? Merry Tuba Christmas. Yes, indeed. Well, how many are any of you here for the first time at TUBA Christmas? How many? Oh my goodness, there are a lot. Well, maybe some of you don't know what all of these instruments are. So let's do a quick instrument demo here and kind of pass it around. Let's see. Shall we start at the top of the heap? Is that a way to describe you guys here? Carol Gocher, would you stand up with your euphonium there and play a note or two on there? That's the soprano voices in there. I'm putting him on the spot. There are wise guys born every minute, all right? And let's see. Well, we gave special permission for a couple of people in the conical tubing family to come in. Hold up those flugelhorns back there. We got a couple of those. They're pretty close to being a euphonium, a little higher in pitch. Now you see a number of different instruments. Todd Hill, hold up that euphonium you've got. His is really an antique. Unlike he's a lot younger than the euphonium, but I'm not. Not much younger than the euphonium. Now let's see. Let's work our way down right behind Todd back there. Let me point out. Well, let's see. Let's skip around a little bit. Chris Warpool, would you hold up a tuba over there? That's a concert tuba. Play a note or two for him on there. All right, there you go. That's the kind of tuba that you normally see in the symphony orchestra. Up there on the top row, there's a recording bass. And the gentleman, he wasn't expected to be recognized, but it has the same sounds. Hold that thing around this way just a little bit so people can see it. You see how isn't that a beauty? Now, those were called recording basses because in the early days of recording, they didn't have electric microphones, and you couldn't hear the bass very well. The string basses just didn't carry on recordings. They would play all the string bass parts on those horns and point them right at those old Morning Glory horns. It was pretty amazing what they could do. And of course, if you see the pictures of the big bands from the 1930s and 40s, you'll see a lot of people playing those instead of a string bass because they carried very well. All right, well, let's see. Now, how about a sousaphone? Two of my buddies back there, Bill Counts and Joe Turner, are playing sousaphones. That's T and C back there. That is the same, believe it or not, same instrument as what Chris Warpool is playing. It's just bent around a different way. See, if you straighten these things out, a B-flat tuba is 19 feet long. Now, can you think of how inconvenient that would be to try to walk around with a horn that was 19 feet long? So they bend them around. You can put it on your shoulder, and that's the one you know mostly from the marching band. All right. I was in college with Bill Counts back in the, what was it, the 1860s? And he was nuts back then, and he still is. Yeah, it was great. All right, now, we've got a couple of antiques here. We've got a couple of helicons. Mine's over there. Where's the other one? Kurt? Yeah, there's a little E-flat helicon. Believe it or not, it does the same job as the tuba that Chris Warpool held. It's just been around a different way. And Paul Zagarella, would you stand up and show them? That's my beauty there. That was from the 1920s, so it's just a little bit older than I am. And that was, well, it's built kind of like a horn of plenty. Now, the helicon name, I guess, comes from the fact that it's Helios. But, Helicon was the mountain where the gods of music lived. Do you remember that from Greek mythology? So what better to name a tuba for than the mountain where the gods of music lived? Okay. Now, what about, wait a minute. What's that weird thing you got there, Tommy Cooper?
That's a double bell euphonium.
Well, why on earth do you need one of those?
I don't know.
Well, can you show us what it sounds like? What about that? Thank you. You know, we've tried to come up with the reason for these things, and they were popular back in circus band days. It's probably just because they had some parts left over and didn't want the boss to get irritated, so they stuck it on the horn. Now, we're going to get it back to actually doing some music here. I want to introduce my good friend, Carmen Sanders, who's the only person who ever called to me who wasn't a tuba player and said, can I come and play in TUBA Christmas? And, well, actually, she is a tuba player now. She's got a tuba, but she's been playing, singing with us since back in the days when we were at Church Street Center. And that's been several years ago. And so we thank you so much for helping us out. Well, tubas, let's see, what have we not played yet? Let's do one more, and then we're going to bring Joe Fitzpatrick up here from the First Baptist Church. Let him guest conduct one. Let's turn to number 7 in the book. This is another one that we usually do just as a concert number, but it's our attempt at playing a little jazz, and it's also one of my favorite carols, Go Tell It on the Mountain. Okay, number 26. Now we're 26 tuba players. And Joe, have you escaped yet? Oh, you're still here. That's good. We're going to invite our host, Mr. Joe Fitzpatrick, a wonderful minister of music here at First Baptist Church, to come up, and he's a real conductor, and you get to see what it sounds like when you get a real conductor. He's going to conduct Hark the Herald Angels Sing for him. Thanks so much, Joe. You know, I noticed that you have brought your own baton. That must be your secret, you know. But, you know, another thing I noticed was that really neat, color-coordinated outfit you had. I never would have thought of, to go with a red tie, having red shoelaces. Did you notice he had red shoelaces? So cool. I'd like at this point in time to recognize a longtime friend of mine and a longtime friend of TUBA Christmas. Some of you probably read the Tennessean back in the day when Ms. Cheap had a column in there. Do you remember Ms. Cheap's column? Mary Hance. And how blessed I was and surprised this year when Betty's a native of Portland, Tennessee, and still gets the Portland newspaper a couple weeks late in the mail. And we opened up the paper, and here is this huge spread about TUBA Christmas written by Mary Hance. And, you know, she retired from the Tennessean about a year ago, and I guess we thought, well, you know, we won't be hearing so much from her, but I think she's writing as much or more than ever. And I'm so glad that she took a liking to TUBA Christmas about 20 years ago, because she's publicized us so many times in her holiday guide. And she has a program called the Penny Drive, which I'm going to let her speak a minute about, to help Second Harvest Food Bank. You know, it's been a hard year for a lot of families because of the pandemic. Now we have the flood coming along. I mean, not the flood, but, well, we've got those too. It's not been long since the flood. But we have these terrible storms coming along, and Second Harvest has really got to be called upon to help out in those cases. And at the end of this service today, there will be volunteers from the Second Harvest Food Bank positioned around the doors. And if you would like to contribute to the fund to help people in need for food problems this year, you're welcome to. Of course, there is no admission charge to TUBA Christmas. There's no obligation of you to donate, but we would appreciate those of you who would like to. And I see Joe is positioned with a microphone. He's probably going to spot Mary if he can, but she's got a good voice. Mary, where are you? There she is. She's right there.
Christmas, first for the Nashville Banner, then for the Tennessean. I've written about it for Channel 5. I'm glad to see Channel 5 here. And now I'm writing for Main Street Media. TUBA Christmas is one of the best holiday activities. I think y'all will agree. And it is free. And I just so glad to have it back in person. And I really want to thank all of you all for being here, and thank Joe and GR so much for allowing us to collect for Second Harvest. Second Harvest estimates that 1 in 8 people, 1 in 7 children is at risk of hunger, meaning they don't know where their next meal is coming from. So the Penny Drive is organized so that no matter what you give, it will do some good. So it's not a big ask, but we would love to have good contributions. And meanwhile, enjoy all these tubas. Thank you all the players. Y'all are wonderful.
And thanks to First Baptist Church for allowing us to do this contribution, or take up this offering. Now we'd like to play for you it's number 10 in the book Tubas, O Little Town of Bethlehem, number 10. Thank you so much. What a beautiful carol. That one gives me chills just to hear the tones from all of these tubas. Let's see. I think we ought to recognize the age spread up here. You know, I didn't used to think of myself as being one of the oldest players, but I'm getting there. I'm 74 this year, but I'm a youngster compared to the winner. Rich Davis, can you stand up for us back there at 91 years old? And Olive Gillespie, is that right? It's Olive. Would you stand up here? 10 years old is Olive. Thank you. Betty and I were on a bucket list trip out west here last month, and we were in Utah. I got an email from somebody saying, "My daughter wants to play at TUBA Christmas. I need a book." And I came back, "Well, I'm in Utah. I'm in the desert, but when I get home, I'll see what I can do." So sent her a book, and here she is. So anyway, let's see. That's about 81 years. That's a pretty good spread, isn't it? Well, anyway, we thank you so much to all of the players for coming. They go to a lot of effort to do this, and it really just, I don't know, it makes my whole year to have a good TUBA Christmas. I'm sorry we missed it last year. Well, let's see. What have we got here? Is there anything left we haven't played? Yeah, we're going to play your song. I know we are. Actually, what I want to do right now is I want to tell you another little story. And this is I promise it'll be short. Harvey Phillips was like a second father to me. I was his grad assistant for a time at Indiana University, and I heard him tell this story many times at TUBA Christmas, that when he was a young boy, his family didn't have much money, and their Christmas was usually pretty slim. But they went to church on Christmas Eve at the little Methodist church there in Marineville, Missouri. And he said when he heard this carol and he heard the ladies' voices singing "Gloria, Gloria," he said it just gave him goosebumps and chills. And he always loved that sound. And so at TUBA Christmas, we try to recreate that for you. Tuba players, it's number 17 in the book. And we're going to play it through a couple of times, but first time is a trial run. Let's see how well we do, Carmen. Carmen's going to try to get you through it. When we get down to the parts where the Glorias are, it's angels we have heard on high. When we get down to the parts where the Glorias are, we're going to ask everybody except the ladies and girls, the female voices in the audience, to drop out and just hear those Glorias from the female voices. And Harvey said it reminded him of angels singing. So let's see how good at angels you are today, okay? Okay, here we go. Remember, it's 9. We drop it out. Right on up.
Sweetly singing o'er the plains, and the mountains in
Okay, good. Now that was a good rehearsal. Good rehearsal. Let's do it one more time, and we'll get it just right. By the way, normally our concerts are about 45 minutes in length, but since we've only got one today, we just might go a few minutes longer. So I hope you don't mind. All right, here we go. All right. Try not to drag it, all right? Ready? Run out.
Angels we have heard high, sweetly singing o'er the plains, and the mountains in reply, echoing their joyous strains. Gloria in excelsis
All right. Thank you very much. Merry Tuba Christmas. Now, at this point in the program, tubas get up number 11 and followed by number 14 in the book, and Nancy's going to come up just in a minute. Nancy and I have worked together on this for many years, and one of the things that is always a highlight of the program when Harvey Phillips was here was when we sang and played Silent Night, which was Bill Bell's favorite Christmas carol. And it was a time in which he honored the great musicians who he had known, who'd gone on and were no longer with us. And so today we have a lot of people like that to think about. I wanted to mention, of course, Bill Bell, who died in 1971, Alec Wilder, who arranged the carols, who died in Christmas Eve, 1980, and Mr. Phillips himself died in 2010, in October of 2010. As we speak today, a good friend of ours, Tracy Luna, lies very sick in an intensive care hospital over somewhere in Cookville area. I'm not sure where, but anyway, he's very sick. We're thinking about him. We're thinking about all of those people who died in the storms up in Kentucky and parts of Tennessee, some out of my county. And I know that you have people you're thinking of. I think so many of my close friends that we've lost in the last few years. So we'd ask that as Nancy comes and conducts Silent Night, that you remember those and sing along with her.
Okay, our next song will be Joy to the World, more celebratory. And this is probably a lot of people this year that will not be very happy during Christmas. It's just been a tough year, and it just hasn't gotten any easier. And as GR was talking, I was thinking earlier, you know, he mentioned the tuba Santas, and so many times tubas were the comic relief for a lot of things, and that has really changed over the years. I think maybe TUBA Christmas has contributed a little bit to that. I recently read a book by Richard Anton White, which I highly recommend if you have not. An amazing person. He's a tuba player, and he credits the tuba with turning his life around, basically. He lived in poverty and now has a doctorate of tuba performance. So the tuba definitely has a place in our culture and in our musical lives. So keep that in mind. Joy to the World.
Joy to the world, the Lord is come. Let earth receive a King. Let every heart prepare Him room, and heaven and nature sing, and heaven and nature sing, and heaven and nature sing.
Well, I got a call, or actually an email here a few weeks ago from a gentleman at Temple University in Philadelphia wanting to know if he could fly down here and play TUBA Christmas and rent a tuba somewhere. I said, well, I don't know of any for rent, but I'll loan you mine. So Paul Zagarella is playing my Pelican over there. So I'm going to ask him to let me borrow it in a minute for one tune. Norland Bewley wrote this song for Mr. Phillips. It's called Santa Wants a Tuba for Christmas. And Harvey used to come to town, as I told you, for many years. One time, it was pretty funny. I went on the air with him at WKDF. Does anybody remember that as a rock station? Yeah. Well, I went on the air with him at WKDF, and they thought they were going to make fun of us. Tuba players at TUBA Christmas, what on earth is that? It was ridiculous. So we go on, and basically Harvey took over the show, and I faked this song with him, Santa Wants a Tuba, and he sang it on the air. And so that was probably my only piece of showbiz. It lasted like 15 seconds. But anyway, what can I say? But anyway, I'm going to step down here, and Carmen's going to sing it. And I hope I remember the words to the little intro. I think I do. And my good friend Todd Hill, who's the backup, who was going to take over if I collapsed up here, is director of jazz studies at Murray State, and he's going to get them into it, and they're going to participate with a little finger snapping and who knows what. So Santa Wants a Tuba for Christmas. Just a minute. All right. Now, I get to say a little something first. The tuba players haven't heard this, but this part. This is the introduction to Santa Wants a Tuba. Now, Santa brings toys to good girls and boys. He's done it for years and years. But who would have thought that Santa has got a special wish of his own?
Santa wants a tuba for Christmas. He knows playing tuba is fun. Santa wants a tuba for Christmas, so please won't you bring him one? Santa wants a tuba for Christmas, a bright shiny tuba to play. Santa wants a tuba for Christmas, so please won't you send one his way? Santa knows the tuba blows the jolliest sound you'll hear. What he wants to see waiting under the tree is a tuba toot toot when he's finished his route. Yes, Santa wants a tuba for Christmas. He's never had a present before. Santa wants a tuba for Christmas. It's all that he's ever asked for. It's all that he's ever asked for. Santa wants a tuba in his stocking this year.
Well, I think we're going to do number 33. Now we're going to play probably the tuba player's favorite one in the book in just a moment. Before we do, I wanted to point out my lovely assistants down here on the front row who have a supply of these buttons that say Merry Tuba Christmas 2021, which, you know, this is kind of, sounds egotistical, but I have to tell you the truth. I designed this button in 1974. Mine didn't have a Christmas tree on it. And I also found the contractor who makes them, and they still make them. It's Mr. Button Products of Indianapolis. But anyway, Tom Phillips put the tree on there this year. I think it looks great. We have a good many extra buttons, and if you would like one, they would be glad to sell you one down here, and that helps us with the expenses. So you can see them. They also have some hats and scarves. These are the scarves. You see some people wearing Tuba Christmas. If you know somebody you'd like to buy one of those for, they got them in various colors and all sorts of things. So just come and see these ladies down here at the end of the concert. And don't forget to make a contribution, if you can, to the Second Harvest Food Bank as you leave. This is a particular arrangement, is by Norland Bewley. It has a quote in there. Betty, do you know the... Don't say anything, but do you remember the name of the march that this comes from? The quote in there? No, that's all right. Do you remember, Linda? All right, well, anyway, never mind. I was going to give away a free button. Anybody could identify what march it's from. Anyway, when you come down there. This particular march that Norland quoted in the middle of the Jingle Bells is a really fun thing to play on the tuba when the marching band. That is back when marching bands played marches. I don't guess they do so much anymore, but we did when I was in high school, and I remember playing this very much. I hope you enjoy our rendition of Jingle Bells. Okay, here we go. 1, 2, ready, go.
Jingle bells, jingle all the way. Oh, what fun it is to ride in a one-horse open sleigh. Jingle bells, jingle all the way. Oh, what fun it is to ride in a one-horse open sleigh. Jingle bells, jingle all the way. Oh, what fun it is to ride in a one-horse open sleigh. Jingle bells, jingle all the way. Oh, what fun it is to ride in a one-horse open sleigh.
Thank you very much. Well, they're either glad it's over or they want us to play one more. I'm not sure which. Okay, get up number 28 in the books. Number 28. You know, I would like to express our appreciation to all the great music educators of this area. Most of these people here are students, but there are a number of teachers in the band. But all of those who are music teachers now, band directors, teachers, or whatever, stand up for us. How about that? Yeah. Thank you. Thank you very much. We're going to play for you a piece called Carol of Bells. Of course, every one of these horns has a bell. Yeah, right, you get it, you know they're bells. But then there are bells you ring. But anyway, this is about the ones you ring. Carol of the Bells. I'll give you 2 bars count. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, go. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. And now we'd like to play for our last number, our musical wish for you. 2 beats, 2 beats. All right, ready? 23. Got it. All right, here we go. 2 beats. 1, 2.
We wish you a Merry Christmas. We wish you a Merry Christmas. We wish you a Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year. Good tidings we bring to you and your kin. Good tidings of Christmas and a Happy New Year. We wish you a Merry Christmas. We wish you a Merry Christmas. We wish you a Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year.
Thank you, thank you. Thank you, and we'll see you next year. We hope. Keep all of these diseases away. Merry Tuba Christmas, everybody. Here's a set of lost keys. Keys.